so many rules in 40K, hundreds of events, and constant updates. Skip the learning curve of Warhammer and join the pros. Art of War is led by multiple world champions with decades of success. We teach clinics, stream games, and inspire you to succeed at your favorite hobby. Join our global community of gamers just like you.
Broseph, it's time to fix some lists.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do some stuff.
I didn't see you there. I was just reading my Orc Codex.
I love everything about this.
As I do regularly. You know, my daily read through of the Orc Codex front to back.
You know, it's funny because I was just reading GSC. I thought about taking those too.
Oh yeah, yeah. They do seem like fun.
I want to tell you, I do want to announce what I'm doing for Du Bois. So, I have one thing to say, because typically what happens is if sometimes Jack makes lists, and sometimes I am 88% the portion of the list, and sometimes
no, 89,
89. Sorry,
11%.
Jack is 11%.
Right.
This list that I'm playing this week, and I'm playing Harlequins in the team tournament. And I told everyone, I gave you full credit this time. I go, this is 100% a list Jack made. I changed 3 weapons. The best is I was talking about it on a stream. And I go, and one of the chats was, well, unless you change 4 weapons, you can't take any credit. So I'm like, I guess it's only Jack. I go, and it's not like I made a change to those weapons. Jack just didn't put them in when he made the list. He's like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, whatever, take 10 weapons. And you're like, okay, I guess I'm putting in some work today.
So I want to let you know that I actually gave you full credit for the list I'm playing this weekend. And I feel good about it because I love the list, guys. Jack has a giant brain and a giant heart of love.
Your check's in the mail, Brad.
But I love it. I do love it. I had so much fun with it. And one of the things that I want to talk about before we fix the list as usual is always take things that are your style and you love to play because you're going to get more out of it. You'll play more and you'll get more out of your game. You'll literally play better with a list that's tweaked to how you like to play. So.
Yeah. Did you just say that right after saying that you didn't change anything on the list and you're running it and you love it?
Because
we're talking Twilight Quins, by the way.
Yeah,
everybody.
And also we have very similar views about a lot of things, so it's very nice. I can count on Jack to not send me some shenanigans. But
well, now I want to. I sent you some pretty harsh shenanigans with those orcs, but they were the kind of shenanigans we can all get behind.
Yeah. Well, talking about shenanigans, I want everybody to know I'm going to Du Bois at the end of the month, middle of the month. I don't know. Sometime in November, I'm going to upstate New York for one of my favorite tournaments that I go to every year and have been going to for 18 years. I don't know. Some amount of years I've been going to. That's too many. There's a bunch of old idiots there, including myself. And I'm playing. I said that if Horton would give me models, he could literally make me play anything he wants. And I'm playing Tyranids. I'm playing some sort of behemoth Tyranids at Du Bois. I don't know what, but I'm playing those. I don't find out until I get there.
Okay.
That's a real thing.
No, I believe you. You know, good on you, man. Like, go with it.
Hey, it's all about having fun. I'll win some games. I'll have some drinks. We laughed. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. We laughed. We cried.
Well, in a couple weeks, will be going to the Games Workshop finals in New Mexico.
You know why he's going to the finals, everyone? Because he was a big dog and won one of the events, specifically Chi-Town, the Windy City.
No, actually, I got it for winning Nova. I got
Ah,
to win Chicago and then hand my golden ticket to Ben Sherwin.
ooh,
That
that's
was
very
fun.
nice.
Um,
Well, by the way, I do have to give some crap to my lovely co-host with on Unbroken. We're literally walking outside of Chicago. It is blasting wind, just knocking us down, and a actual quote from Blake was, "What is Chicago known again for? It's like what, like the Steel City or something?" I'm like, "It's the Windy City, you idiot." We're literally getting knocked over by wind. He's like,
you guys are
"Ah."
like leaning forward at like a 45-degree angle.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty nippy. Going up to Chicago makes living in Florida look pretty nice, but you know,
Okay, we went
I'm from New Jersey.
we
I'm used
went
to
too
it.
far without acknowledging Nurgle Matt with the pregame super chat 777, baby.
That's right. Is it intentional or unintentional? The FML acronym sometimes stands for something else. But hey, fix my list, FML hype, and then a whole bunch of emojis: cry emoji, sun emoji, tree, wine, and beer. I don't know what you're talking about. As far as I know, FML only stands for fix my list. But if there's anything else it could stand for,
It does have a really funny Reddit thread.
does it?
It does indeed.
What is that?
I mean, I can't say these things. This is an after dark conversation.
Reddit? Reddit? I've never heard of that before in my
Never
life.
heard of it?
Never, thankfully. But anyway, I will be going to the Games Workshop finals, and I would like suggestions as to what nonsense I should play.
What nonsense.
Because I'm the opposite of a reality show contestant, because I'm not here to win. I'm here to make friends.
I'm here to make friends.
Currently, if I wanted to try my hardest, I would play Twilight Quinns, and they're also very fun. So like that's always in the cards. But orcs have swayed me somewhat.
Orcs have swayed you?
Yes,
You are indeed feeling the orcs.
I'm swayed. So we'll see. If anyone has any suggestion, I no promises. I'm not like Brad, where I'm going to chain myself to the will of the mob. But if there's any, I will
You
not play
chained me
Death
to the
Guard.
will of the mob.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I got cyberbullied by Jack.
Yeah, do what I want, Yeah, fluoromethylone. That is what else it is. Yeah.
Indeed.
I see some good suggestions here. I mean, Dalton Peters with the orcs. Yeah. Jack should play whatever he wants to GW nerf, so clearly Tau. I mean, Tau would be me having fun, but nobody else, and that does sound nice. That's the opposite of I'm here to make friends, though. CAK says, I suggest Death Guard for Jack, member for 14 months. CAK,
I could make a
I love
Death
the
Guard list for you.
enthusiasm.
Dude, I could get behind a Death Guard list.
I love the enthusiasm. I am the worst Death Guard player you've ever seen in your entire life.
Fetid blow drones for life.
I don't know what it is, but I tried playing them when they came out, and it just did not click in any way, shape, or form. The worst Death Guard player. So that one, probably not. But, never say never.
Never say never. You want to talk about some my people?
Yeah, let's do it. The short men.
Indeed.
Short kings of the world.
Squats. I was a squat before it was cool. I still am a squat.
Was it ever cool?
It was. You better say it's cool, or I'll punch you right in the junk.
It's the highest you could physically reach.
Well, it's my go-to.
Fair enough. Maybe that's why the Berserkers are so good in combat.
Yeah, no one's expecting it. They're like, what's going on down there? Oh no! So,
All right, what do we got there, Bradley?
we've got some Roddy Sutor, Lord Grimnar, a Forge Master, 3 units of Troop Hearthquin Warriors, 3 units of Zerks, 2 3-man Pioneers, and then we've got 2 Hecaton Land Fortresses.
We got 2 heckin' land fortresses going on. Yeah.
Should I start with my unpopular opinion?
Are you going to say that 1925 is a hell of a format?
Well, I mean, that's just style points. I love that.
Yeah. You win with a list that's 75 under. I double checked it. I don't see anything in here that I'm missing, but you never know. There are some notes here. Davlos signed up for a 3 versus 3 team event on December at the Singapore Comic Con.
Ooh.
Game plan is to load Hammer Zerks into the land fortresses. Axe Berserks walk with troops in HQ. Land Fortress plus Berserks present themselves as main threats, and the Axe Berserks are countercharge against fast movers and deep strikes. Is there anything I should change or be aware of?
The army is what he has right now is very slow, and it's prone to being move blocked for what you want to do. My unpopular opinion is I just don't like land fortresses after putting them on the board. But that's also because I'm allergic to things that cost over 100 points. But it's something that doesn't fly, and it's very cumbersome to move around. And some of their other stuff is so good. The Pioneer bikes are amazing. More Berserks are amazing. And to be perfect, to be fair, having just more Hearthkin Warriors is actually legit. When you're
It
shooting
is
stuff,
pretty legit, yeah.
when those guys have judgment tokens on, shooting something with judgment tokens on, and they're just putting their, sorry, not double tapping, hunter tapping something, it's a big deal. With the damage they can put out with either their regular gun or their 1 point upgraded gun. So I really like that. And having a lot of OBSEC in this army is very nice. No rerolls for wounds occasionally makes these guys just super annoying to get rid of. So I would have a little bit more of that. It depends on what you're playing. It is a team tournament though. So before we do anything about fixing any type of list, we got to talk about what his role in the team is. You know what I mean? Because those land fortresses are terrifying to a lot of big things too.
Yes. I am not scared of having units over 120 points in your army. I can accept it. I can move on with my life. The question here, as Brad said, what's your role in the team? So for a team event, you generally want to lean a little harder in one direction than this is leaning. This isn't particularly good defender, although it is only a 3v3, so you don't have to skew as hard. But it's not a particularly great defender. That's fine. It's not a great attacker because it doesn't lean particularly hard in any direction. It's also under by 75 points. As far as
it's also semi-slow because if you're going to be an attacker, it's going to be hard to get big differential if you're doing that because of the fact that people can just sit against you because you can just, especially depending on the terrain, of course, we'll just say something like a GW set or even a player placed. Your opponent, like if you're playing we'll just say it's the most common, a 5 objective mission. Your opponent can just put terrain on 2 of the objectives and just sit for 2 turns. You know what I mean? And just kind of churn points up. They might not win the game super quick about that, but they're going to score, and that you're not going to get a very good differential on that. So I would like to see just more fast. I'm very in love right now with the Pioneer bikes. They're just really, really good. I've been playing, when I've been testing, a lot of Ymir and Grand Thurian, and both with a lot of bikes are just really nasty.
They are. I do like Irani Surtur. I mean, this is our first Votann list.
Oh, it's really good too. Don't get me wrong. But it's just what I like because of the fact that I start leaning into the bikes, and the bikes are really, really nasty there.
Yeah. So right now, I don't think anyone really agrees on what to do with squats. I'm sorry, Leaks of Votann. My bad. I don't want to insult you, Brad. No, nobody really knows. There's no consensus on what's the good units. You'll see in a second. We're going over. There's going to be a creations of Bile list, and you see the greatest hits there. And there's some consensus about like what units go in there, and then what units you can mess around with. But nobody really knows for Leagues of Votann right now. So there's some debate as to whether
100%.
Land forts are good, land forts are bad, warriors are good, ion warriors are good, what characters are good, how many berserks, if you take berserks, if you take Hearthguard. So at some point you do have to kind of take that leap. I agree with you, Brad, that this does not feel like a great teams list.
Because everything's not about teams, but it is.
This one is about teams.
Exactly.
This one is a 3v3 teams list. And if you're doing that, I think what you want to do is you want to just, with this kind of list, you want to just be the hammer. You want to just drop the hammer on somebody and be like, yeah, you can't deal with that.
I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
I owe Joel some more money because I say that too much. I've been having a ton of fun with max bikes lists. They do crazy damage. They're super fast, and this army has a problem with being very slow, and that's something that really hammers. You don't have to go max, but I'd like to see more, to be honest, to really get those out there, get those team points, because you can be dulled by your point differential, because you're looking for differential when you're playing in a team. You're either trying to dull the best list of the opponent, or you're trying to get a differential against whatever you're put against.
Yeah, the pioneers are very scary once you hit a certain amount of them. Like they're very scary. If you have like a full 12 or a full 18, it's expensive, but like you can do it.
Those guys rock though.
Hit.
It's literally the only thing in the army that has movement though too. So it's something that's really feels good when you're playing this, because everything else seems to just kind of go eat, and the pioneer bikes are like wee, and they're everywhere.
What does everything else sound like?
Eat.
And the bikes are like
Wee.
Thank you. Yeah,
what?
So
Lullaby just comes in and it's just like, please now.
What did she want you to stop saying?
I don't want to get something thrown at me right away.
I see. That would be bad content.
I don't want to bleed on stream.
Yeah, she'll throw something with sharp edges.
Yeah, it's not good.
So I want this to lean in a little more of an aggressive manner. I don't necessarily agree with pioneers, because as deadly as they are, if you go first, if you go second, they are very fragile comparatively to other things that you can take.
I mean, you can pop the strat for no rerolls on them.
Yeah.
So they can't reroll hits or wounds. So it depends what you're playing and what you're. It really depends on our.
No reroll hits.
Yeah, but it's built in for no reroll.
Oh,
wounds.
right. Because void armor.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it really skews. They get very durable.
It might be -1 to hit as well.
So the big thing on this is, it kind of depends on our terrain, to be honest. And the thing is that when you fix your own list, when you're looking at stuff, you have to look at what the terrain set is, because it does make a huge difference in what we're going to bring depending on the terrain set. And then of course it's going to make a difference of what your role is in this team tournament. So I do love me some Zerks. I mean, one of the best things about Zerks, and the thing is that's why I'm not huge on them just being in the fortresses as much, is I want my Zerkers to hit something, but I like them as mid-board objective taker behind a wall. Fighting on death, especially the fact that they get a sweep attack, or the big dog attack, is a big deal on that. You know what I mean? You can really punish people for coming up and trying to steal an objective from you.
Yeah, I guess that's all right. I don't think that's what this army should try to do in a team format, honestly. I mean, Ron Huntone here has a decent idea. I think it's pretty good. For a team format, you can just go nuts, as he says. You just completely change the list to max out Sagittars and Berserks.
I mean, I could get behind that. It'd be fun.
Ridiculous amount of Sagittars, and you can take 30 Berserks and split them, because Sagittars let you combat squad your units if you start them embarked in the transports. So you can just take 6 Sagittars and 30 Berserks. Though. Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
They're really expensive. I can get behind 30 Zerks, though.
Remember, this is not a singles list.
True.
Like, think about this. So anyone who's doing a team event, first off, team events are awesome and everyone should do them. But second off, when you're doing a team event, if you're an attacker, you want to try to skew past what your opponent's able to deal with.
Yeah, that's why you have options. I would like to skew hard on bikes, but you could go crazy. We should go max Zerks, max bikes, and just throw it down.
You totally could.
I would love that list.
there's a number of things that you can do. You can take triple land fort with berserks in them and try and just grind through your opponent that way. You can take like 18 pioneers and just kind of say, yeah, I'm going to 20-0 you if I go first.
Hold on, because this is amazing name. First off, super chat from Peaches the Destroyer. I love everything about that. Oh, wise Brad, if you could make changes to the Space Wolves book to improve the unique units and make actual Space Wolves better over successor chapters, what would you do? Man, one, I love some woofing, so I would make them have a sweep attack, kind of like Zerks do, because they're trying to steal the thunder of woofing. But I want some more of the individual units. I would make freaking Thunderwolf Cav not have Cav, or Cav not be the worst keyword in the universe. And if they could go through a wall, I would be taking Thunderwolf Cav all day long.
Yeah, I think that
make them
I
go.
think you just need to make them hit hard, because they also just don't hit hard at all.
Yeah, well, and they have some awesome, especially the characters on Thunderwolves. You know what I mean? I want to see a Thunderwolf Lord. I want to see Canis. I want to see Thunderwolf units. That looks sweet. Those models are awesome. So I would definitely buff those up for sure. And Space Wolves are known for they back in the day, it was the only army that you could take extra characters in. You were actually required to take extra characters back, and this is forever ago. But their whole deal is they're led by these like giant personalities. So they have little bands of guys led by their Thanes, and they rock out. So I would love to see something with that. Maybe even a special type detachment, like how Dark Eldar have the triple patrol. I'd love to see something like that with Space Wolves. And I'd like to see their characters, the named characters, buffed a little bit, or you just get a little bit more bonus. I would like to see maybe you get more bonuses per whatever guy you take, for sure. It doesn't have to be a huge bonus, but like if you take Ragnar and stuff, everything that is in his detachment should have something. So that you could fix a lot of it with that. I don't even want to just get into point stuff, but they need buffs on that to make them, you want to take those characters, to make you have Flavor Town on the board.
Yeah, they also need to give regular Space Wolves trait something, because the regular Space Wolves trait is just a lot worse.
Oh yeah, I mean it is crazy that it is a big deal. I mean, Born Heroes and War Winter Rage just fits in so well, but why aren't they getting something like that already? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't that the Space Wolves trait? You don't have to do Whirlwind with double exploding maybe, but like, why are they not getting bonuses to charge? You know what I mean? Of different ways. So yeah, I would love to see regular Space Wolves on the board as opposed to a random successor. And that's the thing, is I'm not even a huge fan of random successors, to be honest. I want to see a ton of special characters and stuff on the board. I want to see regular Space Wolves on the board. They just have to buff them a little bit. We need to see them get more traits. I'd like to see your special characters give you bonuses per the detachment they're in, and then limit certain, you know what I mean? So you have to take, I'd love to see him have a 3 patrol type deal, like Dark Eldar have.
I'm not convinced that Peaches the Destroyer isn't just Brad commenting so he gets to rant about Space Wolves for a bit. Like, Jesus.
I do love space puppies.
All right, Stephen Buss Photography says, how do you submit a list? You go to our Discord. If you're a War Room member, you go to our Discord, you go to the Fix My List channel, and you submit your list. Please make it in a readable format for me. It makes it more likely that you are going to get selected. Good morning, Sindri. Good morning. So, I crunched a few numbers, Bradley.
Hit me.
If you take 30 Zerks and 6 Sagittars, and you throw in a unit of troops, you still have 200 points left for characters.
Nice.
So I'm just saying, it is possible.
I love Andy's calling me out. He goes, that conspiracy theory seems true.
Yeah, I think so. I was like, 30 minutes into that Space Wolves rant, where I was like, something seems off. Why is he reading off a card?
Is this a note from Chad Brester?
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if I can super chat from Art of War. Oh, I totally can. Oh, I could totally I could super chat ourselves, which seems a little pointless because, YouTube would keep half of it, but whatever.
It's not about the money, Jack. It's about the
It's about
principle.
literally sending a message.
Exactly.
So yeah, and Matto points out that the heroic strat does kind of completely take over the Space Wolves trait, but I don't want to start into that discussion again. Otherwise, I'm going to
Do we
see
want to talk
slides
about Space Wolves
17
some more?
through 83.
I got a PowerPoint
Brad's.
set up for this.
Exactly. So I think for a team's event, something like Leagues of Votann wants to skew a little harder in one direction rather than trying to be. This looks a lot more like a singles list where you're trying to have decent matchups into the field, have some scoring, have some fast units, have some combat, have some shooting, and trying to do the sort of thing we would normally advise for singles play.
We do need it's a new army though. We do have to figure out what our model limitations are.
That is true. They may not have everything.
Because so teams, I wouldn't mind seeing, just say, if you're doing a skew list, I would like to lean into one way or the other. Like if we're going to put land fortresses on, I wouldn't mind just going triple fortress.
Yeah. I mean, this is a team event in December, so there is time to acquire models. But you never know what somebody's, financial situation is in. John Chave says, I feel like the bikes are there to force the enemy to put judge tokens on themselves early.
Kind of. Yeah. They also have the searchlight. Bikes are really good. It probably is my favorite unit.
Yeah.
I go favorites of the squats right now. Being a squat, I get to say Pioneers 1, Zerks 2, special character 3.
Yeah, I would only take Zerks in a teams event if you had something to put them in, because you need to get them up the field and start beating face like right away.
Punch, pew pew.
Punch, pew pew. Try it. 30 Zerks split into 6 Sagittars that run around the board. You can table people real fast.
It would also be awesome.
It would be awesome.
You would call a squad wog.
Yeah. You also have room here to not be a battalion, because right now you start with 5 CP and you gain an extra 1 every turn. You don't need all that. You can have that and it's fine and your strats are good, but for a teams event you probably can cut some of these warriors and just include more skew is where I would probably go. All right, we've spent a while talking about this. Let's move on to the next list.
Let's go to the gerbil boss.
Let's go to the gerbil boss.
We've got Creations of Bile. We've got a mop. We've got the Dark Apostle with Illusory Supplication. Demon Prince. 2 units of 10 cultists, 5 legionnaires, and my least favorite troop build out. 10 Chaos Terminators trying to be unkillable mojo with the Black Rune of Damnation, Slanesh so they can get Feel No Pain. A Master of Executions with Ulukakaka the Black. 3 units of 5 Possessed. Unit of 5 Warp Talons, 3 bikes. Abaddon, the Despoiler, coming in a crisp 2010. That's not the best point total, but
yeah,
we're gonna work.
Yeah,
with this.
I think you may have thought plasma guns are 5 points each, instead of 10, but that's pretty easily fixable. Gerbil Boss says, "Hi, Jack and Brad. Here's my Creations of Bile list I'm going to be running at my local game store. I know I said last time that you two are the dreamiest Art of War members, but this time I'd also like to add that you're the funniest."
Yes.
I don't know why his list got picked exactly, but
I love that. Like anyone
take notes.
that just gives you compliments, you're like, that list is in.
I mean, if I have to decide between 3 different CSM lists and one of them said I'm dreamy, I'm a human being too, Brad. He says, I've been doing well with it and would love feedback on it. Secondary plan is specimens for the spider, banners or interrogation based off objective placement, and no prisoners or long war based on the opponent. The list starts with 0 CP. The 3 bikers with chain swords, 2 extra plasma guns, and I had free points, so Sergeant has a power fist, which, spoiler alert, you did not have free points. I also find it funny to spend almost 700 points on characters that need lookouts, sir. Yeah, that is kind of a problem, that there's so many characters in the list. Not really sure what to do with that. I'm not sure if Abaddon wants to get cut. I think he probably doesn't. He's gross, so.
I would like the bikers to be literally anything else.
Yeah, 120 points on them bikers feels a little much.
So expensive for what they do.
They really are. I mean, the the Reaper autocannons, let me check how many points they are. Those can totally just get cut and try and, like, I'd love to turn the bikers into more warp talons, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. You know what I mean? Plus, the Terminators are looking to not just go slow and pew pew with some Reaper autocannons. They're looking to move. They're looking to take the board. So you're making that big durable thing. So there's not a lot of times when you're going to be shooting those autocannons because you're going to want to move to wherever the hell you want to get, or you want to start threatening your opponent's objectives.
Well,
So,
I mean, they're probably not going to be advancing and charging most of the time because they will want illusory supplication. The only way to advance and charge. Oh wait, hold on. No, the Creations of Bile has advance and charge for once.
it hasn't changed. I say it has advanced
Yeah,
charge.
yeah. You're not going to be firing these guys very
Right.
often.
You got to shake them, bake them up. You know what I mean? You need to take the board. You can't spend that many points on 10 chaos terminators, put the black rune on them, and not have them interact. You know what I mean? And the big thing is they don't have to just get there. They have to threaten to get there. So your opponent has to deal with that. You know what I mean? So you want to be pushing up, stealing that middle objective most of the time, and getting over to places and start taking away points from your opponent and really changing their game. So I'm not just going to nickel and dime a couple shots. I'm going to be moving up the board as fast as humanly possible to get behind a piece of terrain, to take the least amount of shots possible. Even though you're a durable unit, everybody can die. It's 9th edition 40k. So
Yes. Yeah, the only unit in the game that realistically won't die is the Iron Warriors one, because they have -1 damage.
Yeah.
They have no rerolls to wound, -1 to wound, trans hitman, 5 up against mortal wounds, 5 up in general, 5/5 feel no pain in general. You know, that unit will not die. I don't care what army you are.
Chad's like, drop the bikes, add a Venom Crawler. I could get behind that, but I'd like
I like that.
I'd like some more speed though. The Venom Crawler is such a good buy for its points at $1.05, but I'd like to actually have another unit of talents at 5 attacks apiece and jump packs. It's something that you can trade in the middle, you know, or any of the objectives that get to the middle, because you can at least threaten super early that you're not just going to let your opponent take that 12 early. So and I don't want to put the possessed right away there because I kind of want to bully them as we go.
Yeah, I still want to drop the autocannons, even if it's just to get more power fists. Or you give the legionaries, you know, a book so they can cast the
Cast
power.
this power. I'd like if I'm going to take legionnaires. Basically, I hate legionnaires. I like one legionnaire if I have the book and I can cast a power.
Well, we could try to get a core infantry unit so you can just take all like accursed cultists and nonsense. That's something else. I want to see accursed cultists in here.
I'd love to see accursed cultists, but we do need something to raise our banners.
That's true.
Which is another reason why I don't want this bikes in here, and I want another talent, because that would give us another infantry unit that on turns that you're not doing anything, you can just pop a banner up.
Yeah, warp talons are all right in Creations of Bile. They're good because they fight on death.
I would say fight on death with 5 attacks that reroll.
They're not as reliable in terms of how much damage they do. Like, they're not Black Legion where they are +1 to hit. They're not Word Bearers where they reroll to hit. So they're a little less reliable. I do like the Venom Crawler just to give yourself that +1 to cast.
Rome's got a huge thing on this. This is why I want more stuff. Because the list feels like a clever opponent would ignore the Termies and Abaddon and go after everything else to limit board control. 1000%. This is like literally what I talk about coaching all the time is don't jump into the teeth of your opponent. So you have to make sure we have enough stuff, because I am a little worried about this list in the fact that if you push up and your opponent just kills the cultists and or the legionnaires, that you have to make some real decisions on who's staying at home now.
Oh, confirming my hypothesis.
Oh man, Peach is the Destroyer with another super chat.
That's so strange.
Yeah, leave Longfang Brad alone. Don't be so jelly. We need a dedicated chat of more space with 10 out of 10 would listen for hours.
Yeah, real person named Peaches the Destroyer. Yeah. Dedicated chat of more Space Wolves. Yeah, Brad, you can start that with John.
I would love to talk about Space Wolves for hours.
I know you would, because you're saying it right here in this $10 super chat.
I just want to submit lists. You become a War Room member and you put it in the Fix My List Discord. And you are at the mercy of the dark god, Jack Harpster.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for your super chat, Peaches. I'm sure that after I check off, Brad will be happy to sit on here for hours and hours and hours and just chat nothing but Space Wolf minutia with you.
I do enjoy talking, period. So
I know. Yeah, I think this list, like almost every Chaos Space Marine list, just wants more stuff.
yeah,
I don't think the Terminators particularly benefit from creations of Bile. I mean, they get the advance and charge, but they don't
still
hit any
extends
harder.
the board. It extends the board out, which is kind of a big deal with that. And Fight on Death is annoying to a lot of armies right now because there's a lot of melee armies in the meta right now. So
Yeah, but the Terminator's goal is to not die.
Correct.
And like when they die, they're going to die like one or two at a time, and most of the time in shooting.
So I know I want the bikes gone. I would love to have the Book of the Legionnaires to make them do something besides just be overpriced idiots. And do it. I mean, the Don's amazing. So is the Don a no-go as far as like is he in the list forever? Because a lot of people are like, that's how they start their list. They love the Abaddon. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Fair enough. Fair play to you. Abaddon is baller. He's cool. You do run into some problems for including him. He's not like perfect. The main problem is if you're taking 10 Chaos Terminators that are 370 and Abaddon that's 300, and then you're taking, 700 points of characters is already pointed out by Gerbil Boss. That is a problem because 700 points of characters don't hold ground. Abaddon kind of does.
Whoa. Don't sell it short. It's 705 points of characters. Thank you very much.
I see. Yeah, Abaddon kind of can hold ground, but the rest of the characters can't. So you're leaning on your Possessed and your Warp Talons and your Legionaries to pull double duty because they have to be like the front line. They have to hold territory, and your opponent will get to hit them first. So they get benefit of Creations of Bile being able to swing back, but having this much characters, even though all the characters are good, you fall into the issue of like, hey, even though all of the characters are good and they're all worth including, are they worth including all of them? Right? Every single one can earn a spot, but is it worth having every single one? Because like you could make a list that's 2,000 points of amazing characters and it'd be a terrible list.
Yeah.
So you need to know what point you stop taking buff characters. So, and I think the Demon Prince might want to go, but then you don't have either interrogation or ritual.
Yeah, and the thing is like also that dude's a baller dealing with a lot of tough things that are hard to kill.
He is, but like so is Abby.
Yeah, but I mean, one of us ignores phase caps, and one's just awesome.
It's true. I think when you play this, you're going to need to put Abby and the Chaos Terminators in separate parts of the board.
Yeah, the thing is that if you can't run Abby with the Terminators because then you're just sitting at 700 points, and you're actually more because you want the Illusory Supplication on them. So now you're
the Master Possessions as well, and then the Master of Executions is probably nearby.
Yeah, I mean you just have like a 1,100 point bubble that your opponent will just avoid. So the thing is that even though I love him, I mean, you have to cut either the Prince or the Don, to be honest. We just need more stuff on the board, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't love cutting the guy who's going to cast, Ritual. I generally end up cutting Abaddon or the Terminators or something. They're just, you want more stuff.
I mean,
this is a list that doesn't need as much beef. It needs more stuff.
But it's one of the things where basically if you cut the Don, you get 2.5 units. So, and you already hit pretty damn hard.
I do kind of want the Dawn more than I want 10 Warp Talons, though, I'll be honest with you.
Well, we can get 10 Warp Talons no matter what. We just cut these bikes and find 20 points, which is...
No. I mean more than I want 10 more Warp Talons.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I can see that, but the thing is that do we want some people that can actually do some things? How are you scoring your points? Is one of the questions you have to ask every time you make a list.
Yeah,
this list bangs, but like I don't know how I'm scoring any points. I could kill these 2 units of cultists, and you're just like, welp.
Oops.
Yeah, who's sitting on these objectives? Is 10 Terminator? Is 1,100 points chilling on one of my backfield objectives now?
I mean, the Demon Prince plus the bikers is 2 more units of Warp Talons.
I'd like to have just more things to play the game.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely want Warp Talons instead of bikers. Just more nonsense guys.
I just don't like the bikes. They're for what they are. For the points of they are, it's just meh.
It feels, they feel kind of pointless.
They're bad. We score them with the point scorers.
Oh, clearly, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, every CSM list that I look at feels like it wants more stuff. Like it has powerful interactions, but it just wants more things in it. And I don't know, I don't want to cut the Demon Prince, but I could see cutting the Demon Prince down to a sorcerer and just having the sorcerer run into the center and do Warp Ritual. Because you need something to do Warp Ritual. You'll need it. So I could see cutting Abby, but that makes me sad, so I won't do it.
Base cap is a thing, man.
It really is.
That dude's a badass. I mean,
that dude wrecks people, like legitimately wrecks people.
It's nice to just go, oh, you got a special rule? I don't care. Clunk.
Yep. You're -1 damage and no rerolls to hit or wound. And you're just like, dead.
Yeah. He also flies, which is a big deal.
What?
Flies a big deal.
Oh, we're talking.
Cook
I was
off.
talking Abaddon. You were talking the Demon Prince.
Think of the Demon Prince.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Demon Prince is good, but like at some point you got to cut something.
The thing is I think that you have to cut one or the other. Period. And then we're going to do the same type of thing. It's whether you get a bunch more stuff or you just get some more stuff. So that's where I'm at right now. We cut one of the 2 characters and you just get more things so we can play the game.
That seems fair. I don't want to cut Abaddon, but if I cut the Demon Prince, I want a guy to cast Warp Ritual because that's what the Demon Prince is there for. Honestly, more than Golax the Decayed or whatever, or Hatred Incarnate. That guy is there to score Warp Ritual. And if he bangs well, he does it, awesome. But that's what he's there for.
He also bangs.
He does also bang. He do be banging, though. Abaddon would get you a lot of stuff if you cut him. Because you cut him and the bikers, that's 410 points because you're 10 points over. So you would be able to get like 2 squads of Warp Talons and like a squad of something. I don't know what. Another squad in there. Like another squad of Legionaries even.
Max possessed.
Or a squad of Chosen. Like a squad of Chosen just in the elite slot. Boom. We could cut the Terminators. I don't know how essential they are. Like cut them down to like a squad of 10 Chosen or something. With the Black Rune.
Just make big possessed squads at that point in time.
Oh, yeah. Or just take Big Possessed. Big Possessed energy.
Energy.
I think something in here wants to get cut so you have more stuff.
Agreed.
At the very least, the bikers need to find points and turn into either a Venom Crawler if you don't want to cut any points, or Warp Talons if you do. And the Reaper Autocans would be a great place to cut.
I'd like to have the Book of the Legionnaires.
Yeah, that too. That might mean the Master of Executions goes away.
With Uluka, the Black.
Yeah, I mean he's a good raised banner guy, but like he can go.
He also bangs for 65 points.
None of these characters are bad. None of the characters are bad, but something needs to get cut.
You know what? When I was talking about the character points, I literally forgot about the Master of Executions.
Yeah, it's 225,
it's
405.
770.
Yep, it's 770 points of characters, and none of them are bad. This is why I always end up cutting the Terminators, Brad, is because they're not 370 points. They're, 600 points because you have the Master of Possessions and Dark Apostle dedicated exclusively to buffing the Terminators.
Yeah.
It's why I don't really probably wouldn't take Terminators if I ran a CSM list, but
it's just
then
so many
what do you
points.
have that takes the front line? And like, I don't have an answer for you.
All of the stuff.
All of the things.
MSU for life.
I mean, MSU Creations of Bile does work. It does work.
All right, we're going to move on. Kachink, Grotworks Mech Shop, showing up with a House Vextrix super heavy detachment.
Yep.
So we've got 2 War Dog Brigands. 2 2-man War Dog brigands.
Yep, and the
3
brigands are the chain cannon
pew 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 pew.
thermal spear, the demon breath spear.
They're the shitty
ones.
boys. 3 War Dog executioners. 2 War Dog stalkers. And then a bonus War Dog stalker with demon breath spear. Then we've got a Demon's Patrol with a Prince, a Transweaver, 10 Blue Horrors, and 2 3-man Flamers.
And he actually hit 2,000 points on the nose. Well done. Didn't know that was... I'm going to look really stupid if I just miscounted or something. But, nobody's going to check my math, so we're all good.
I love everything about the chat right now.
Yeah.
New way to rank units. The Bradchester Bang Scale. And immediately Hellfire with... Before 40K, that was his dating scale. So that checks out.
Before 40K, that was his dating scale?
I mean, Bit's out of the building right now. Not even the building, I guess. The room. I don't know what's happening, guys.
You rarely do.
I mean,
All right,
true story.
Let's talk this list. So this list is 10 war dogs and some demons.
Well, here's my question on this. What are the demons adding besides -2 CP?
Yeah, I'm not sure, and it's -3 because the demon prince has a relic. I don't know, honestly, because the thing, yeah. So I'm sure you were about to say this before I rudely interrupted you, but I rudely interrupted you, so I'm going to continue.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
It's the only way you get to talk if you're with me.
When you fair enough. When you add something to an army, it needs to fill a role.
Yeah.
And what is the role that this demon detachment fills? Like, I don't see it, really. Like, what this demon prince doesn't do anything that a stalker doesn't do, right? He does it better. He's a character, blah, 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 blah. But, like, not really, right? Because he just hits in combat. And he casts a power, but you have a Transweaver for that, right? Like, you can do psychic actions. You have a Transweaver for that. I do like having 2
Also, why do we have a
Psychers.
Transweaver at that?
Because she's cheap. And
Yeah,
I assume...
Who's she buffing?
I assume she's, like, reducing people's leadership so you can do crazy leadership shenaniganery to people.
I guess, but, like, I don't need that as much as I need more consistent bang.
Yes. Brad wants his bang.
And the big thing is that it had been called out multiple times by Mr. Jack Harpster. You can get yourself into the trap of trying to be too cute with your lists. Like the weird combination that you're trying to pull with some leadership shenanigans and stuff like that could just be more knights that do more damage and take the board.
Yeah. There's the real risk anytime you're designing a list that you make a series of decisions that in and of themselves are correct, that make sense. But then the end place where you end up is wrong. So here, the demon detachment, I think I can see why every unit in here is here. Right?
100%.
The demon, yeah, like I can see why the demon prince is there. I can see why the Transweaver would be there. You might as well save a CP, include a unit of blue horrors to hold the backfield, and then divide the rest of your points by flamers. And all of those things make sense. But then we're left with a patrol that kind of doesn't do anything. Like you make a series of correct decisions, and at the end, it's wrong. Like the output is wrong. So we need to take a look at the entire patrol and ask what is it doing. Well, and then we need to make it do that.
Yeah, because like if I'm gonna take a patrol that essentially runs around adding some flamers and stuff, I'm gonna give somebody to buff the flamers, and I'm gonna take more flamers. I'm gonna take 2 units of 5. I'm gonna take a character that gives them +1 to wound. I'm gonna take the blue horrors because I have to at that point in time. But do I need this prince when I could just have literally another knight?
Yeah, it's honestly what I want out of this, and I don't know the power levels off the top of my head because you couldn't pay me enough to do that. To know the power levels. But I'm sure Grotworks does. And so I'm sure this fits the power level requirements for the Demon's Patrol to be an agent of chaos. But if you're going to do that, I would say I don't want the blue horrors as much. They're good, cheap backfield holding, like awesome. But what I want this detachment to do, I want it to do actions that knights cannot, and I want it to have flamers.
Then if you wanted to do actions, you have to have 2 troops then.
No, Because flamers can do the actions,
Well,
and
flamer is
characters
true.
can do the
So
actions.
true. Flamers, and the thing is you're not going to flame on turn 1 unless your opponent's going crazy. So
And the other kind of action that I want to do is a psychic action, which knights don't have access to. So what I'd really love to see would be a change caster and then 3 units of flamers, like just that. Zach, have we fixed a Votann list yet? Go back to the beginning of this video, and we fixed a Ronnie Surtur team list.
so
But yeah, that's what I want to see out of this detachment. Is I want to see it able to do actions, psychic actions, and get flamers in because flamers are gross. And so that's where I want to end up.
Well, let's go 2 units of 5 flamers then. If we're going to take a demon patrol, let's take a Fluxmaster because he can buff or he can do psychic actions. He flies, so he can haul. And then buff out the flamers to 5s. What do we want for our troop then?
Oh, don't take a troop.
I mean, it's if you're going to take a patrol, it's kind of makes it illegal if I don't take a troop.
Don't take a patrol. Easy. Take a Vanguard.
I get behind a Vanguard.
Yeah.
It's just one.
This isn't traveling players. This isn't Harlequins. You're allowed to take other detachments in case people don't know.
But traveling players. I don't want to lose my strands dice.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Hellfire Hobby says this is a lot of tax units
100%.
for only 6 flamers. 100%.
Also, that I don't think the Demon Prince has any spot in here. The Transweaver feels a little bit weird too.
Yeah, I mean I like the Transweaver because it doesn't cost you anything. You're not giving up on the.
But why am I taking it? What am I gaining from this?
It's the cheapest Psyker. Runs into the center behind a knight, and you have another Psyker behind it. If they want to try and dive the Transweaver.
If we're going to go 2 10, if we're going to go 2 5s to go to 10 flamers, why am I not taking the Flux? Because then if I'm not doing a psychic, I can buff up plus one I want.
Yeah, it's a yes and. I think you want to take 2 Psychers if you're taking Warp Ritual. Otherwise, your opponent's going to just kill one and then be like, "Oh, you get 0."
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think the Demon Prince has a play in this one.
No, I think the Demon Prince goes. I want a Fluxmaster and Transweaver, and then just divide the rest of it by Flamers. Call it a day.
I mean, with all of this, do we still just would rather have more knights? I mean,
I honestly think if you limit it to just those data sheets, probably not. I think if you limit it to just people who are doing a very specific role, I think you're okay. I think Fluxmaster, Transweaver. I mean, let me find the points on that one. Right? Let me pull up my battle scribe and figure out how many points we make that detachment. But it's not that expensive. Fluxmaster and Transweaver is 180 points combined, and then it's 375 for 15 flamers. So 180 plus 375 is 555. That's pretty good package to just slot into a night list, and it doesn't do anything cute. It's trying to just fill a hole in a knight's list that exists, which is they don't get to do actions, don't get to do psychic actions, and they don't get to have the best unit in the game, flamers, in it.
Yeah, I mean, we could literally put you open up having banners in your list, which is a big deal actually, because the flamers can pop it, both the characters can pop it.
Yep, I like that. You can take 2 Fluxmasters if you want. Just being fast is nice.
We got to be careful. That is true. We have to look at the power level real quick.
Yeah. I figure people can make the power level work, but it's 18 power level for 15 flamers. It goes up to 22 when you include the Transweaver and 28 when you include the Fluxmaster. So 28 I feel like is workable. I mean, a Demon Prince of Chaos with wings. Let me see how many he uses here, right? Because that'll tell me what he has. 9 just for the Demon Prince, 13 when you add the Transweaver. Blue Horrors are 3, so that's 16. And then the Flamers are 3, so that's 19, 22. I think you can probably go to where we were saying, which is 28. But 28 times 3 is 84. That's too much. This is why I hate power level. This is so annoying to figure out. do I have to figure out what award? All right, hold on. I'll be right back. I mean, I think you can tweak it a little bit. Like what you could do is do 553 flamers, and then that's 25, and that's probably fine. 84 power levels, roughly 1680 points. Who knows? You know, it's all brigands, executioners, stalkers. I'll check Wikipedia real fast.
I love everything about this.
I hate everything about this. Anytime they put in something that's based off power level, I want to die.
Yeah, those power level rules can sloppily gurgle my nurgle.
Nurgle Matt. War Dog Executioner is 8. A War Dog Brigand is also 8. And a War Dog Stalker, I'm assuming, is 7. Also 8.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was
80 power level.
If this is my list right now, as we were doing this, we would get to this point, and I would just be like, I'm bringing more knights. Just not doing this.
So the list would work power level wise if you include a Transweaver, a Changecaster, or Transweaver and a Fluxmaster, and then 553 blue horrors. But it might also work if you include a Changecaster. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. A Fluxmaster is, Fluxmaster 6. This sucks. Changecaster's 4. So if a Changecaster is 4, and I hate this so much, that's 8, and then 18, 26. It actually exactly works power level wise. I did all the math. This actually exactly works power level wise if you take a foot Tzeentch Herald, a foot Slaanesh Herald, and then 15 flamers. 555. That works.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, that is 26 power level, and there is exactly 26 power level to be a quarter of your army. Or a little bit, there's 26.666 or whatever, but, you know, you have the room.
Yeah, exactly. I love doing power level plus points.
Yep, thank you for noticing, Mr. Peters. And then it's 160, yeah, because you got to do math 3 times. Plus 375 is 460, 535, which I think roughly slots in where he's at. So that's what I would go. That's what I do.
You've just hurt Jack's head.
Yep, a little bit. Yeah, if you take a Transweaver and then a Changecaster and then 3 units of 5 Flamers, that will be 26 power level, which is just under a quarter of the list. If you take 10 War Dogs.
If I'm going to take a Demon Patrol, that's the Demon Patrol we're taking.
Yeah, that Demon Patrol bangs.
100%. That's what you're looking for, though. You get changing it to that gives you flamers that actually make a difference because you get enough shots now. You get a buff on the flamers, so you're +1 to wound, and you also have enough units now that can give you different secondaries, be it a psychic secondary or just doing actions. It's actually really nice sometimes to just, if you don't have a target, to zoom over, put a flamer up, put a banner up, drop a bomb, things of that nature. Just having people that can actually do actions does open up a lot of things for knights, but you need to make sure that it's efficient. Efficiency. You can't have points just wandering around.
Yeah, you have to, when you look at adding something in, it has to have a purpose and it has to fulfill that purpose. And once you're done putting units in, you have to actually go through and say, does this do what I want it to do?
I'm going to end on this. I just had a bunch of people do this. I do it myself also. When you're looking at your list, it's important. I call it an honesty check. Go through your list and say, what does this unit do? And name off the things that it's basically in charge of. Is it a hitter? Does it take objectives? Is it a backfill? Whatever it does. And when you get to units that you can't immediately say, here's the 2 or 3 things that it's in charge of, that's something that's on the chopping block. So, because you should be able to list everything that's in your list and exactly what you're going to do with it. Anything that you're meh about, then look to cut it.
Yep, for sure. They have to be mission critical things that they're doing too.
Yeah.
I believe there is Votann versus Thousand Suns on YouTube at 1 o'clock Eastern time, so that's in 2 hours. That should be between Nick and Mr. Seeks. Should be very very fun game.
Some of the stuff.
Some of the time, all of the things.
60% of the time works.
Hell yeah, Brad. All right, Queens, wave us out.